Greetings. Brown Seneca-Soshin elk toxics. Freedom. Respect your roots but do not let them trap you. First, a little bit about my own personal life and practice. I have a framework that I live by, and it could be encapsulated in these words: to be physically tough, intellectually brave, unflinchingly principled, derive dignity by austerity, and modesty through simplicity. And actually, these lines have also been used to describe a very famous Roman statesman who was a Stoic, Cato the Younger. As an example, he walked barefoot, he slept on the hard ground. Even though he was a very wealthy man, he lived with simplicity, and he never flinched from questioning authority when that authority was going on the wrong path or was not doing the right thing. And more importantly, he did not let his past, his ancestry, his famous ancestry, or the family in which he was born and raised to trap him. So that's why that line: respect your roots, but do not let them trap you, because that's what gives us freedom. So, speaking a little bit of myself on the physically tough side, um, round the year, I take cold showers even when the temperature falls down to about 40 degrees F. It's about 2 or 3 degrees centigrade over freezing temperature. That's one thing what I do to develop hormesis in me and also make me extremely brave, and that also infuses into what I would call moral courage or intellectually brave, uh, free enough and brave enough to exercise this moral courage, even if it results in unpopularity and even if people don't like me, or uh, be intellectually brave enough to fit out and not necessarily fit in with others and go along with the crowd, because this trait is extremely important not only for our own personal development, or we will be disjointed or disconnected and it will result in a life of distress, depression, sadness, and all those type of aversive emotions, and we cannot flourish as a human being. So that's one of the reasons why it is important to live our own life and not live for the sake of others. And how does this apply to professional life? So if you look at industry, look at companies, organizations, they have their legacy, they have their culture, practices, and they stand on it. And that's how a brand is developed, and for good reasons. That brand has got its authority because it has flourished. But there is a time in its history when it needs to pivot, evolve, move into whatever it may be, like a digital age, or say move from steam engines to a better form of energy generation or propulsion, if it were a cruise ship, into, let us say, internal combustion engines, or maybe now in our time, electrification. So there needs to be a paradigm shift, and there is always a resistance or there is an inertia. This may also apply to things like discovering a new business model, taking on new challenges, and there is also always a little bit of fear, or not little bit, quite a bit of fear. What if we fail? So we need to have that intellectual courage or moral courage to change with the times and to progress, and we cannot allow our roots to trap us. If we allow our roots to trap us, we are deprived of freedom. And that freedom and that ability, like an explorer, to go over the horizon and seek, whether it be a planet or a satellite like the moon in our solar system, it required a lot of courage, ingenuity, and bravery to take that moonshot. The same thing goes when it comes to exploring, let us say, Antarctica, or when it comes to climbing or summiting Everest, as Hillary and Tenzing did back in the day. The same type of courage, both moral courage and physical toughness, is required to go over the horizon and break new ground, either as an entrepreneur or in a legacy company. And in personal life, developing that physical toughness and intellectual bravery oftentimes is derived from maintaining a very sound body and mind, good physical fitness, ability to bear cold, heat, uh, lead a frugal life, be an ascetic, but at the same time uh, be modest when it comes to enjoying the pleasures and not being very extravagant, and lead a very simple life. And even if good fortune is lost and misfortune hits us, we become poor. We still have virtue on our side, and we can live a unflinchingly principled life. And the same thing holds good in professional life as well, because we are so close to the earth and lead a tough life. We do not become disheartened or devastated because we have lost a fortune, or we have failed in our entrepreneurial activity in life. So, in closing, let's remember that freedom emerges when we do not let our roots trap us. We respect it, but we have to move on to discover ourselves both as a human being as well as a professional, to flourish in our vocational activity or what we do to generate income, create new services and products that are of value to society at large or for the betterment of the planet. Thank you.